Welcome to another episode of Marketing Tomorrow. We are your hosts, Leon,
Max.
and today we're going to be talking about digital transformation.
Some of the topics we're going to be talking about are emerging technologies, personalisation in AI, the Metaverse, and digital transformation and the impact it has on customer experience. For those of you who don't understand what digital transformation is, just like we didn't when we first heard of the term, it means it's a process of using digital technologies to change a business's processes. So using technologies that already exist to adapt a business.
Yeah. The first thing we're going to be talking about is emerging technologies. But just to clarify, we are having an episode on this next week, and we're just going to be talking about how brands can use these new technologies and incorporate them into their business.
AI is the fastest growing sector within this, in my opinion.
Massive. Yeah, I mean, AI is, we see it every day. We talk about it on all our episodes. It's a massive part of the future of marketing. And within emerging technologies, obviously, businesses are starting to use AI more and more. So it's like, how can they use them to enhance what they're doing? You know, AI can analyze massive data sets in seconds. You know, it can shorten the process of many different things within marketing and outside of marketing. And there's all sorts of other things like.
Well, the great thing about AI is not just an individual sector. You can use AI in other parts, like other emerging technologies, for example, the blockchain.
It can structure large data sets and speed up the delivery of tasks.
You can also store and distribute AI models, providing an audit trail that enhances data security.
Yeah, and I mean, this is just one example of how AI is being used within different industries and how businesses are learning to take advantage of AI.
How they can use it to adapt current models that they use in their business. For example, a company that deals with sales, gathering lead generations can take hours. Calling up businesses, cold calling is not a very efficient way of gathering sort of clients. But with AI, that can do all of that hard work at the start for you. You can streamline the process. The inbound sort of side of it will all be sorted through AI and different chatbots.
Yeah, and that's just, you know, a glimpse of what the future holds, because we're only in 2024 and this technology is still new, so we can only dream of how it's going to be adapted in the future.
Exactly. ChatGPT, for example, or is it? I remember it was literally only a few months ago. You needed to have the pro version for it to search the web, to generate images, but that's all just in the free plan now.
Yeah, it's upgrading by the day, by the month, whatever. It's continuously improving and
Fast.
It's not stopping. It doesn't look like it's stopping.
Yeah, and even though this AI does seem like it's just appeared, it has been in development for years.
Yeah.
So just think of the AI that is in development now,
Yeah.
that is ready to be released within the next few months, up to a year.
Yeah.
So following on from emerging technologies, and more specifically AI as an emerging technology, a key part that every brand can use AI is through personalisation and altering certain aspects to use AI instead of just manual work. I can list a number of examples here. So in e-commerce specifically, stuff like product recommendations can be used AI. They can look at users' preferences, brands that they've viewed, as well as sizes, colours. They can just gather this sort of information and then just target the customer with products that the AI has, where they've used their resources and the information that they've been given from the customer, and they can target them with products that the customer is more likely to buy.
Yeah, I mean, that seems like it's taken out a massive part of the whole kind of marketing process, you know. In the past, people would have had to go and do that research themselves, you know, analyze the data and come to a conclusion of what each customer wants. But now, obviously, AI is doing that for them.
I mean, before they'd have to break it up into different customer segments, right?
Yeah.
They might have like a list of 4 or 5 different customer segments, but now with AI, they can have
Thousands.
endless, really.
Endless.
Like, it's customized to the customer. They'll have their feeds of products to buy like on Amazon are really good at it,
Yeah,
will be completely different to everyone. Everyone will have a completely different product recommendations.
Exactly. Each customer will have their own kind of set of markers that the AI has said that they're going to hit, and what they want and what they want to see.
Yeah, exactly.
And I mean, I'm sure we can see this happening with email marketing as well.
Yeah.
I know Gymshark, I'm not sure if they're using AI, but their emails are extremely customer targeted. Like, one customer will have a certain amount of emails going out, and there'll be products listed on them emails of what they might want to buy next.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's just from them clicking on stuff. That's just from them buying.
It tracks their data, really.
Yeah, it tracks everything.
That does lead on to another point of the ethical considerations.
Yeah, it has to be spoken about.
It has to be spoken about. So, how data collection and usage is occurring, they need to comply with regulations.
Yeah, I mean, we've said it before, you know, the whole Facebook leak, but it's not just that. It's the bigger picture. You know, if AI is holding like we said, each individual customer's data, how is it going to be used? How can we be sure that it's just used for, you know, marketing purposes only, and they're not, you know, looking into deeper things, taking notes, and do you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, they need the customer's trust.
Yeah.
Like, if I don't think a company, if I can't trust the company, then it's gonna be hard for me to really give them my data or be okay with having my data because of data breach risks, which happen all the time, especially like on even like massive platforms like Twitter.
Yeah.
Constant data breaches. If they know exactly what to target, they have a lot of data on you.
And even if we look at Instagram and like the whole Meta platforms, they have how many platforms? They've got Facebook, they've got Instagram, Messenger,
yeah.
They've got all these different platforms.
WhatsApp as well, is it?
Yeah, WhatsApp is Meta as well.
Yeah.
They've got all these different platforms. Even with the messages from WhatsApp, I know it says they're encrypted, and I'm sure there are, you know, things to protect the customer at the end of the day. But in the bigger picture, they have so much data that they can use however they want. Really, they have the power.
Another AI-powered tool that brands could use is AI-powered upselling and cross-selling. So, as an example, Netflix will suggest additional subscriptions based on your viewing habits. Another one, e-commerce stores selling phones, they'll try and upsell you iPhone cases, for example.
Right, so kind of additional things based on kind of what you're doing.
What you've viewed. So
yeah, I think Amazon definitely does that, as you said earlier.
Yeah, they can look, the AI will be able to look at your viewing habits and your buying habits, see the sort of, be able to put the data all together, and then be able to recommend you a phone case that will match sort of your personality that they've gained through the AI.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds like a great idea to me. Like, just enhancing the whole kind of customer process as a whole, you know, and making it more automatic. It's going to save so much time and probably eliminate some, you know, employees.
Yeah, exactly. It also increases revenue growth.
It's AI enhancing the whole process online as well.
Exactly. It just gets rid of the need to have to input any of these upsells, as it will just work it out for you.
Exactly. I mean, I guess to conclude this kind of section of personalization and AI, like, how essential do you think digital transformation is for every business, you know?
It's very essential. It's always going to be needed. It always has been needed. As soon as cars were invented, taxis probably came very soon after. I mean, the idea of incorporating new sort of technologies and existing technologies into brands that are able to use it, it's going to be something that is only going to develop with time. Like, AI right now is the big thing. That is what companies are looking at to use within their brands.
No, I agree. As of right now, other than, you know, the kind of potential security and privacy breaches, I don't think there's many negatives to it. You know, it seems like it's a no-brainer why businesses shouldn't do this, and if you're not doing it, you're going to fall behind.
Exactly.
That's how it's going to be.
As long as it stays biased and fair as well.
Yeah.
Obviously, we spoke about this a lot on our last episode, which was diversity and inclusion, and
we will touch on that in a upcoming episode in emerging technologies. We'll speak about coders bias and all sorts of other things.
So stay tuned for that, because it's only going to get more educational.
Yeah.
In the next segment of this podcast, we'll be touching on the Metaverse and how brands can use the Metaverse to gain a competitive advantage and potentially increase their revenue streams. So, like, you know what a Metaverse is, right?
Yeah, it's like an online world, isn't it?
Yeah, sort of. So people will have their own digital sort of characters and personas within this world that they can sort of interact with other people, and they can hold digital assets and stuff like digital land.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little like Ready Player One. That's kind of how I see it. I don't know if you watched that.
Yeah, I
film.
have watched that.
Put a little clip on the screen, but yeah, it's just an online world, really. It's probably going to grow a lot more in the future, 20, 30 years time. But as of right now, it's staying low key. I think one of the biggest things associated with the metaverse is NFTs and kind of crypto.
Yeah, so NFTs are a great way that brands can sort of get involved in the metaverse and sort of appeal to a new audience on the blockchain, which is something that 5-6 years ago no one was talking about. No one was even thinking about it, but it's become such a popular sort of trendy topic that people can get involved in. For example, Nike were a great example of it.
Yeah.
They had what they called Cryptokicks. When you bought specific shoes, I can imagine it's the more premium shoes, you would get an NFT with the shoes that would sort of hold value and be on the blockchain as sort of proof of authenticity of the shoe.
Yeah, and I think the idea with the metaverse is that you'll be able to wear this shoe in the NFT, like on your character.
Yeah,
it's not just going to be a picture.
Exactly, and I don't really think you can buy fake Nike shoes on the blockchain. It doesn't really make sense.
But all this creation and kind of creativity kind of makes you think, like, how do you think digital transformation is going to change the skills marketers and employees need to have to stay competitive?
I think it's changing a lot. For example, artists.
Yeah.
With the use of NFTs were a combination of human artistry, but also algorithmic generation.
Yeah.
So the need for artists is less. All they really needed, for example, the Bored Apes, they would have needed to draw maybe a few different sort of styles, and then algorithms would have taken over and sort of then generated the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds more.
Made kind of alternatives.
Exactly.
I mean, I think it goes to show like how the digital world is transforming, because I mean, art is always going to be valuable, paintings and sculptures and whatnot. It's always going to be a value, and if not even more valuable as even more digital concepts come along, like NFTs. So where's the difference going to be? Are we going to see artists go from being, people to AI? Yeah, I mean, we had a speaker come in one of our lectures who, and she was speaking about how the metaverse is still only a concept. It was released, but because our technology at the minute is not where it needs to be, it's still only a concept to most people. But as we spoke about in past podcasts and even this one, the future of technology is so vast, and the improvements that are going to be made within the next, even maybe, imagine 50 years, into the future.
Can't even imagine.
Technology will be so different. There'll be a whole other generation of people growing up. Our kids are going to grow up with AI, but what are their kids going to grow up with? So the next segment we're going to be talking about, similar to personalization in AI, but the impact on the customer experience.
How are customers affected by digital transformation?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen it recently in the Amazon stores, Amazon Go, where customers just walk in the shop and I believe it scans their face and it.
Yeah, or it's like you don't just walk in, you have to walk through a barrier, or the barrier will open up, and I'm sure they will track you. From there,
and it charges your account
as you leave the door.
So that eliminates employees as a whole. So some customers or some members of the public who may feel some social anxiety, interacting with people who, if they find it hard on a day-to-day basis, they don't have to deal with that anymore because it's all digital.
I'd say the drawback with that though was that they did have a lot of people watching it. It wasn't done automatically. There were people on the other end watching them. It was done manually. So this is a great way where brand innovation can come in and sort of maybe let AI take over that role.
I'm not sure if you've seen in Zara where you put all your items in like a box in the checkout and it knows what items are in there.
Yeah, I think I've seen it.
Yeah, so maybe it's a similar concept, And these are all examples of how the the employees are being eliminated and the customer experience is changing because they're not interacting with a human anymore.
For the customer, it's going to be so much quicker. It's going to be no more queues to check out. It will be as simple as just walking out the door when you've got what you wanted.
It will streamline the process so much.
Yeah, exactly. It might actually be the new way of shopping. Not that far. There might not be any more sort of employees in shops.
Yeah, I mean, my personal opinion, I don't mind not interacting with someone. You know, if the option of self checkout is available, I'll take it every time.
Yeah.
I think it makes the whole process a lot quicker, and I'm sure it's more efficient for businesses as well.
The automation of AI within brands will impact the customer because it will save them time and it will also recommend them products that they are more likely going to want to use.
Yeah. I mean, it's only going to help the customer process as a whole. I even read in this article that customer satisfaction is on the increase when using self checkouts.
Okay.
Yeah. So according to like studies, it's in 2016 even.
So not only customers but employees. Do you think the shift to remote work has accelerated digital transformation or just exposed gaps in businesses' digital strategies?
Yeah, I mean, I think definitely since the pandemic in 2020. In fact, I know from the pandemic in 2020 that hybrid working, so employees working both from home and in the office, has increased by 20% from 2020 to 2022, so March 2022. So, I mean, I think it's a benefit. You know, if the option is there, I'm very for working at home. If your productivity is going to be the same.
I read an article from Forbes just last year, and they did a study where it showed 10 to 20% of productivity decreased from remote work.
Oh wow, really? Yeah. I mean,
yeah. So it really does depend on the person. So yes, you could argue that remote working does lead to increased productivity, but overall, I mean, it clearly doesn't.
The numbers show. Yeah. I mean, like we said, I guess it also depends on the business. You know, how essential it is to be in the office. Obviously, with things like Microsoft Teams, Zoom, and all these other platforms, meetings can be done online.
Exactly.
And it is easier for people to have meetings online, you know.
With the roles of AI incorporated into businesses,
yeah,
there might not be the need for as much face-to-face sort of interactions, and a lot of aspects of the business will be dealt with through AI.
Yeah, I mean, so overall, do you see digital transformation as a never-ending process, or do you think businesses will eventually finish transforming?
I think some business models might finish transforming. There might only be so much that technology can do, whereas with other models, it's going to be constantly evolving. Just like any sort of tech sort of firm is going to be constantly evolving.
Yeah.
With the use of Metaverse, like we spoke about earlier, the Metaverse will just keep pumping out new things. Obviously, NFTs is the latest hit, but what is next?
Yeah, and you know, emerging technology, there's so many new things coming out. You know, we don't know the future of technology.
Which we will cover a lot more in detail in the next episode.
Yeah, next week's episode on emerging technologies.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's us finished about digital transformation. Thank you for watching.
Yeah, I hope you found this educational.
Make sure to like and subscribe, and if you're listening on Spotify, head over to our YouTube, check out the video.
And if you're watching on YouTube, just follow us on Spotify as well. Make sure you comment and share this as well.
This is all our insight of kind of our thoughts on marketing tomorrow.
I've been your host, Max.
Leon.
And we'll catch you in the next episode.